Worthiness is personal. That's not just a phrase. It's a truth we often forget. It's easy to think that worth has a universal shape, that it's a checklist, a career, a relationship, a title, a lifestyle that looks a certain way on the outside. But real worth? It doesn't follow a formula. It doesn't look the same on everyone. And it doesn't need to, because worthiness is not what the world gives you. It's what you choose to recognize in yourself. You are not waiting on permission to be worthy. You're not waiting for applause, likes, or a title. You're reclaiming the truth that worth doesn't come from being chosen. It comes from choosing yourself. For some people, worth shows up loud. They've got the confidence, the attention, the recognition. But for others, it's quiet. It looks like staying in the fight when no one claps for you. It looks like starting over, like forgiving yourself, like walking away from what broke you, even though it's all you've known. And every version of that is valid. Every version matters. Because your worth is not one size fits all. It's not earned by surviving more trauma than the next person. It's not awarded for being perfect. It's discovered, protected, and lived in daily. Let's talk about the reality, though. Feeling worthy is not always a constant. It's not like you wake up one day, say, "I'm worthy," and that's the end of it. It's a battle, a conversation, a choice you have to revisit often. Some days, your past will try to speak louder than your future. Some days, your reflection won't match your vision. And some days, you won't believe in yourself at all. But that's when you have to remind yourself, even when you don't feel it, you are still it. Let's shift how we think about worth. Worth is not a reward for what you've accomplished. It's a foundation to build from. It's not something you wait to earn. It's something you learn to remember. It's not always loud. It can be quiet, grounded, steady. And it's not about proving something to others. It's about honoring something within. So here's your reminder. You don't need to shrink to be accepted. You don't need to match anyone else's version of success. You don't need to hide your softness, your strength, your story. You don't need to wait until you're fixed to be worthy. You're worthy now, not later, not when you get it together, not when they finally see you. Now, here's how you protect that truth. Do not compare your progress to any other person. They're not living your story, and they never could. Start defining your wins based on your values, not validation. Sometimes, winning is walking away. Sometimes it's trying again. Let go of the need to be understood by everyone. Not everyone will get it, and they don't need to. Ask yourself daily, what does worth look like for me today? Then honor it, live it, protect it. This is what it means to own your worth. You stop letting how other people treat you to define it. You stop tying it to your productivity. You stop apologizing for embracing it. And you start walking in it, on good days and bad days. And when you do, you begin to build something powerful, an environment that supports you, a mindset that grounds you, a life that reflects what you believe about yourself. Because when you see yourself as worthy, you make better decisions. You form healthier relationships. You take bolder steps, and you stop settling for spaces that don't align with who you are. So, if no one has told you lately, you're allowed to feel worthy, even if you're still figuring things out. You're allowed to feel enough, even if you're not where you want to be yet. You're allowed to redefine what worth looks like as you grow. Because worthiness is personal, and the more you believe that, the more your life will reflect it. And maybe that's the part no one told you. That the journey doesn't disqualify your worth. It reveals it. It's in the becoming, not just the arriving. It's in the effort to keep showing up. It's in the decision to believe in something better for yourself, even if you don't see it yet. Worth isn't what you prove after you make it. It's what you hold on to while you're on the way. Worth is not a distant reward. It's your foundation, your compass, your power source. You were never the problem. You were just carrying too many false definitions of worth. Most of us have absorbed ideas about worth that didn't come from us. They came from broken systems, biased voices, or unhealed environments. Look a certain way, act a certain way, achieve certain things, be liked by everyone, never make mistakes. But those lies kept us trapped in cycles of perfectionism, people-pleasing, and self-doubt. And the truth is, none of those things can define your worth. You don't earn value by becoming someone else's ideal. You protect your value by becoming fully yourself. So let me ask you something. What version of yourself have you been hiding because you thought they weren't worthy enough? The softer you, the creative you, the slower, more intentional version of you, the version that doesn't hustle for validation but chooses peace instead. What would happen if that version had the mic? Would you start showing up differently? Would you stop apologizing for your voice? Would you finally take up the space you were always meant to fill? Because sometimes the boldest thing you can do is stop editing yourself to be accepted. Here's a truth to sit with. You don't need to become worthy. You just need to stop believing that you're not. That means shedding the old layers. Unlearning what they said about you. Take a breath. Really, pause. Take a deep breath in and release everything that says, I'm not there yet, so I'm not enough yet. Let it go. Because the truth is, you've already come so far. And your journey isn't proof of weakness. It's evidence of resilience, of faith, of becoming. You don't need to delay your life until you're all healed. You don't need to shrink just because your worth makes someone else uncomfortable. You're allowed to choose joy. You're allowed to walk away from what no longer fits. You're allowed to redefine success in your own language, live like you matter. Not when they understand you. Not when you've checked every box. Not when you've stopped making mistakes. Now, because here's the quiet power of seeing your worth. You become your own validation, your own peace. You stop performing and start living. You stop questioning and start owning. So wherever you are today, maybe you're rebuilding, maybe you're doubting, just know this, your worthiness doesn't expire. It doesn't decrease with failure. It doesn't rise with applause. It's steady, personal, yours. And when you finally choose to believe that, your entire world shifts. And when your world shifts, it doesn't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it looks like peace, like finally waking up without the weight of who you thought you had to be, like no longer needing to convince anyone else that you deserve to be here. Because guess what? You do. You've always belonged, even if they overlooked you, even if they talked over you, even if you were taught to question yourself before you even got the chance to know yourself. Your worth isn't negotiable, and it's not a group decision. No one else has your soul. No one else has your specific calling, your story, your voice print. So when people don't see you clearly, that doesn't mean you disappear. It means they were never meant to define you in the first place. If you're waiting for everyone else to get it before you start living like you matter, you'll be waiting your whole life. From this moment forward, walk like your worth is settled, because it is. Walk like your voice holds power, because it does. Walk like your story matters, even the messy parts, because it all matters. You were never meant to feel disposable. You were meant to stand out, to unfold, to become. If no one's told you this lately, you're allowed to be proud of how far you've come, even if your journey isn't impressive by their standards. You survived things you didn't think you'd make it through. You've battled thoughts you couldn't even put into words. You've stayed when you had every reason to walk away from yourself, and that is strength. Not the kind the world always celebrates, but the kind that builds legacy. Because self-worth isn't just about how you feel, it's about what you create from that feeling. So here's a challenge. What would your life look like if it was built from the belief that you're already worthy? What if you chose something different now? Not because you're broken, but because you finally believe you're whole. That shift right there. That's how new worlds are built. This is your world, and it's shaped by what you believe about yourself when no one's watching. So speak to yourself like you matter. Show up like you matter. Make decisions like your peace is non-negotiable. Walk into rooms like your presence carries weight, because it does. You don't need a title to be important. You don't need applause to be powerful. You just need to remember who you are. And if you ever forget, come back to this space, because that's what Worthy League is about. A space where your value isn't debated, it's declared. You are valuable, and you are just getting started.